Well, hello again. Welcome back. It has been a long time since I've been in front of you guys, but we're back again. I'm back with my main man, my homie Dez Ewell, coming live from Bristol, Connecticut. What's up, homie?
What's up, man? What's good? What's good? We out here, man. It's been a second, bro. It's
It's been a
time.
second. It's been a minute, but hey, had a lot going on. Life is real, and this ain't my full-time job, so it be like that. But trying to get
Facts.
back on it. So here we are, and we got a lot to get into today. So we're gonna get into it. We're not talking about too much today. We're gonna talk about obviously COVID and the impact it's been having on in the sports world. The
Right.
NBA is supposed to be coming back this month, actually in the next few weeks. And so we're gonna talk about some of the stuff going on, and then of course hit it with the NFL because that's what we talk about. So first, getting started with COVID. I mean, we're looking at you look at college football, and I think that's where we're seeing it the most. We're looking at games getting canceled. The SEC darn near canceled like half of a few weeks ago.
Right.
I know we just saw Michigan and Ohio State getting canceled.
Yep.
Even basketball games getting canceled. I mean, we just saw Houston's basketball team had to shut stuff down because Coach Sampson and his son and a few other players are having to deal with it. So I guess we can just start this thing off by talking about, that and kind of going back to what we kind of talked about a few months ago, and just, kind of how it's playing out and what we think, um, you know, can happen, in the next few months, hopefully with the vaccine coming out and hopefully getting back to some sense of normalcy that we've had, that we're used to.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's what we're all for. I mean, every sports fan is hoping to see, the rest of every sports season. You got college football. You got NFL coming back. I'm sorry, NBA coming back. You got the middle of the NFL season. Are we going to finish the last four games? Are we? You know what I mean? We saw the Dez Bryant situation tonight with the Cowboys Ravens game. You see Ohio State, Michigan getting canceled. You see, it's just so much going on right now. And keep in mind, the NBA is going to be bubble free. The NBA is bubble free. So okay, how is it going to work now that you have people trying to sneak people into the bubble? Okay, now
Right.
they ain't got to do that. They at home. Come on now, So there's a lot, bro. There's a lot going on with this, man. And I'm just hoping that I think every sports fan wants to see the seasons complete with everything. So interesting situation, man. And they say the vaccine's getting ready about to start. I saw today in the UK they started doing the first of the vaccines in the UK. That's good news, but as black folk, we kind of like, hey, we need to see
Right.
them do what we do it.
Right. And I'm
You know,
glad you mentioned it because when you talk about stuff like this and we're talking about leagues that are predominantly African American being,
right.
NFL and the NBA, and you got people who are smarter, not to say that people back in the day weren't, but we're more educated now than we were back then. And we kind of
Right. Right.
we know why black people are hesitant in general
Right.
to deal with the vaccine because we've seen
Right.
what's happened, in the past when it came to stuff, dealing with vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like like any other sports fan, I want to see the season completed. And one thing I will say about the NFL, people will rag on them, for situations like, that last week with Baltimore playing against Pittsburgh on that Wednesday.
Right.
You look at situations like earlier in the season where Pittsburgh, pretty much had their whole season and schedule messed around
The
because
Pittsburgh, Tennessee,
exactly,
situation. Yeah.
we're looking at all this stuff, but at the very least, the NFL can still say they haven't missed a game. Stuff
Right.
has gotten moved around,
Right.
stuff has gotten pushed up and back and up and back, but
Right.
they are 100% right now. And I think one thing that we have to remember is the NFL works on, every 7 days, so to speak. I mean, obviously you have your Thursday nights, you
Right.
have your Monday nights, but it's one game a week. With the NBA, what I, envision, what I don't want to happen, but the problem I can see us running into is you got a back to back. A team has an issue where they get, somebody testing positive tonight, and they were supposed to play maybe not tonight, but they were supposed to play tomorrow, and then they were supposed to play the next day as well against that same team because they're trying to cut down on travel and all that stuff, which is smart. So then what? Then how are you going to move that stuff around? The NFL can move games around. They can, they can move stuff back in the season and still play the Super Bowl when it's supposed to. But the NBA is in a time crunch because there's an Olympics that's supposed to be played in July. And I think that no matter what, it's most likely going to be played because vaccines are going to be out there, and it's probably going to be a mandate like, okay, we're having the Olympics no matter what. Either you have the vaccine and you come, or you don't have the vaccine and please stay in your country and don't bring whatever you got over here. And so I think that's one thing you got to realize. And of course, obviously, I hope it doesn't happen. I would love to see basketball, hockey, baseball, football, all the leagues get back up and get back to normal, because sports are one of those things that bring normalcy to us, to our society at the very least. Maybe not to everybody else, but to us, there's a normalcy when it comes to sports, being played normally. There's a normalcy when you have football on, the NFL on Sunday, then Monday, then the MAC playing on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the bigger schools picking back up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it starts all over again. Then the NBA comes in October, then baseball comes and during whenever they come back as well. It's that normalcy, and you want it back. But I think that we have to realize that even if we do get back to that normal schedule, the normalcy still might not be there, because I think people might be hesitant to kind of just get fully back out there, and that might be an issue.
There's a lot of issues, man. Again, it's assuming that one, there's no issues with vaccines, and then two, is there issues with, like I said, the players not want to take vaccines. Now, we talked about black players, but it may not be just black players who don't want to take the vaccine. Let's just be real. The anti-vaxxers tend to be a different shade of skin color. So
you're right.
Just throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? No, so you got the black people who don't want to touch it at all because of our history with trusting medical experts to do whatever tests they want to do. And then you got, other cultures or other people who are anti-vaxxers, and you're like, so they may not want to touch it. So, okay, what happens there? What happens when, complications, whatever it may be. There's so many. We just don't know. We just don't know. You know what I mean? Like I said, you think the NFL has this in control right now, and you see the Dez Bryant situation, where, okay, you had an inconclusive, and now you let him get on the field, and, he's warming up, and now you snatch him off and test him again. Why did you test him again before they got to the field? Why are you testing me before they got? You know what I mean? So it's so much. It's so much. And all you can do is hope and pray that things go well and that the science is going to be a good situation, because it was rushed. But, maybe we got some good scientists on it. And I believe, not to knock anybody in that community. We appreciate everyone, the scientists, the medical professionals that's grinding, the janitors that's cleaning up the hospitals afterwards. We appreciate everybody. But just realism says, all you can do is close your eyes and hope, because there's no telling where and how this thing goes, man. There's no telling how all this thing goes, man. But we're rooting for everything to happen the right way, because it's not just sports fans that want this. It's human life. It's human life.
Absolutely.
And no matter how much money they make or don't make.
Mm-hmm. And I do think that you mentioned, like, it's not just sports. It kind of does put everything into perspective, because people, it kind of makes us sit back like, okay, sports is important to us, but, your life and your health is a lot more important than a game being played. Now, I think part of the issue is there are some people who don't see it like that, maybe, and they're like, oh, play the games. I want my football on Sundays, which, again, I said it on this channel. I like my football on Sundays too. It was weird being at work on a Tuesday night and turning on a football game. Made it even weirder, but just because it just so happened to be my team, the Cowboys, playing. But it doesn't matter who it is. It's weird seeing games on Wednesdays, on Tuesdays. It just doesn't seem right. It was weird seeing the NBA playing the rest of their season in a bubble. It's weird now turning on college basketball games and still seeing cardboard cutouts in the stands.
Yeah, still.
Like our Duke was just playing, and I just had it on, and it was weird seeing something that wasn't the Cameron Crazies right there up next to the court. Yes, sir.
Shout out to Duke getting their butts whooped. Just shout out to Duke getting their ass whooped.
I knew it was coming.
By who?
Illinois.
Who?
They're ranked. They're ranked.
Who?
Illinois.
Exactly. Who?
Anyway, what we're talking about is the
You
fact,
know.
I know who I'm talking to.
Hate.
I know who I'm talking to.
Carolina lost today too. Don't get me wrong.
Carolina
lost today too. So I can't say too much. But in the day, I'm a Cougar anyway. We ain't lose. I know that.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. We ain't lose. True. But anyway, Duke lose is a good day. I apologize.
It's all good. I apologize for bringing it up. Know who I'm talking to.
No, I'm happy. I'm good. Okay. I'm fine. You call my little brother, see what he say, but I'm good over here.
But so back to like with the, it's weird turning on games and not seeing the fans. And I saw something earlier today. It was saying that in the NFL, there's pretty much no home field advantage. Like there's no, record-breaking noise at Arrowhead or at now Lumen Field, where in Seattle. There's no, like, even in Houston, like I've been in that stadium, when it's gotten loud, and it can get pretty raucous in there. And there's no, there's no home field advantage. And I think it said that road teams are, before the Cowboys and the Ravens played today, road teams were 96, 94, and 1. That's or maybe 94, 96, and 1. Either way, it was right there. There's no home field advantage. And I saw something else a few days ago saying this was like the most 14-plus point comebacks ever this year. Because there's no, you go to a stadium, you go into Arrowhead, especially now, if, pre-COVID, Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, they get up on you, 21-7. You don't know what happened. Right. And then the fans are drunk now because they're celebrating and they're loud. You can't do anything, but now you can chit chat, have all the chatter at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And, you can do pretty much anything. You can run the whole system. Nothing is off because at the very most, the biggest crowds I think we've seen this year were in Dallas, and it was 30,000 at Thanksgiving. But other than that, I mean, you're looking at 5,000, 10,000 maybe. Like, I mean, think about it. New Orleans is a 2-loss team right now. Do you understand how loud the Superdome will be this weekend?
Yeah.
Do you understand how loud the Superdome would be?
Facts. If you don't know, look.
You can go to the Superdome and hear church mouse fart. It's that quiet in there because there's no,
I mean, you got the sounds. They're playing the sounds. So they're trying to replicate it, but it's still not the same as when you in there and you feel that in your pulse.
Exactly. But
the energy coming down on you.
Right. But I think the problem is, I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the season, NFL said they capped the noise level at like 75 decibels. And that's nothing. Like, that's loud, but you can still run an offense at 75 decibels.
Right.
These stadiums we're talking about get up in the hundreds, like 150s, like it sounds like a jet engine is flying right next to you for 3 hours straight. That's how
you're talking to me. I used to work next to jet engines. I know what it sounds like.
Exactly. So
insane. You wear the ears and it still is. My hearing ain't been the same. Hearing ain't been the same since.
Right. Like okay, and not even that. Literally in Seattle, twice, Marshawn Lynch had runs that caused seismic activity in Seattle, like jumping up and down, literally registered on their scales in Seattle. But you don't have that anymore, and it almost takes away from even watching at home. Like it feels weird watching a game at home without any fans there because you miss that noise and that just that raucous atmosphere. Like you feel like you're a part of it watching it at home, and it's not the same this year. And again, I hope that whatever needs to be done gets done so that we can get back to that. I miss having to turn my speakers down because something wild happened, and I'm pretty sure my neighbors are going to come upstairs and start knocking on my door like, hey.
Because Seattle going – because Russell Wilson just threw a 80-yard touchdown at DK Metcalf, and he stiff-armed somebody on the way,
Exactly. Exactly.
No, it sucks, man, because like I said, bro, we all miss it, man. We miss the full – I mean, we're blessed to even have sports in this moment, and again, I'm in a situation where I'm working in sports right now and blessed to still have a job right now in sports because a lot of people did get cut, not just from our company, but multiple companies and multiple teams, multiple opportunities. I work in boxing full time right now, so it's blessed to be there where boxing's still going. And now you see, like, they had the Errol Spence fight, for example, that just happened that had fans in Dallas. In Dallas, they had fans right there. That was crazy. I saw people who I knew who were at the fight. So, you had that. That's like a second or third fight with fans now. Shout out to the PBC for doing that. I'm on the ESPN side, but we haven't had fans at ESPN. We looked into it, but we haven't had it. They're still doing the bubble out in Vegas to this day. Still doing, Chris Stevenson's fight this weekend in the bubble still. So, yeah, bro. People are trying. People are trying to make it work. People are trying to make it as real as possible. For the people that can't have, they're still trying to do the fans. You see the fans on the screens and everything. You're trying to have the sounds pumped in, but at the end of the day, nothing replicates 60,000 fans.
Yeah.
Screaming as loud as they can, whether they booing, cheering, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, all that it sounds the same at the end of the day. And you feel that in your we grew up in Texas, high school football with 40,000 fans sound like,
man,
you know what I mean? So you can only imagine 78,000 doing 85,000 doing the same thing, and you're missing that. So the sound, you pump it all you want to, but it ain't the same.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna switch the topics now. We're gonna move into the NBA. Basically, the biggest story right now is the fact that James Harden didn't show up to training camp at first. He's shown up, says it was virus protocols, but
right,
yeah,
right.
So actually, we didn't discuss this earlier, but I kind of do want your thoughts because there was the thought that obviously we knew Westbrook wanted out of Houston, but also that James Harden wanted to go to Brooklyn and play for the Nets, play for Steve Nash and play with Kyrie and KD. I know my thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts first before I say what I have to say.
Well, which one you want first, the Westbrook situation, or you want the
Harden?
Okay, well, with Harden, I mean, first of all, people are acting like this is over with. That could very well, still happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's not over with yet. So I wouldn't close my, that could be why he's doing what he's doing to try to force the trade to happen in the first place. But then who knows? Rockets could say, hey, you know what? You're pissing us off. We might see you behind the, wherever, just because, there's no law that says they have to send him where he wants to go. That's them trying to be great. You gave us 8 years. We appreciate you. We try to make it work. Maybe it didn't work. Okay, we need you to come to practice. So it's an interesting situation, especially when, he says he's not going there, but then there's pictures coming out of him being in clubs or bars or whatever, and, in Vegas, wherever he was, like it's a whole petty situation going on both sides. So they need to figure it out. He's back. He has to go through a little protocol. So I think we'll really see some real stuff when, 2 days from now when he's back in practice. I think that'll tell us everything we need to know. So but at the same time, John Wall and him, I actually like that idea. That's just crazy. I actually like that idea. But people are talking about it won't work. What people are forgetting is, as much as we talk about James Harden's game and ISO ball and holding the ball until the last few seconds, that's Mike D'Antoni's offense, which is no longer going to be there.
Right.
You got, PJ down there who is, the son of a former coach, or actually Charlotte Hornets coach, Paul Silas. So, you got, baby Silas out there. What system is he going to bring? What system is he going to enact where, this may work out better for him, where Harden isn't holding the ball to the last, to the 24 seconds run out of, however long and everything else. So it's interesting to see where this could go because if Harden stops being petty, he can actually get to practice and whatever. He might see this might be something he wants. Or they might be able to see this isn't going to work. We can go. Let's go ahead and make this Nets trade work. But at the end of the day,
I think my problem at first, especially when the thought was, and might still be that he wanted to go to Brooklyn to play with KD and Kyrie, was that do people really think that that's a championship contender? Now, granted, I understand we're talking about different scenarios, but it kind of reminds me of we had the conversations last year when it was Odell and Jarvis Landry and Baker Mayfield teaming up with the Browns. Steve Nash isn't, Freddie Kitchens, obviously, and obviously we're talking about two different sports, but it's kind of the same thing of just because big names get together doesn't mean it's always going to work, especially not off top. I mean, you looked at LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh that first year. It didn't work that first year. It took a while for that to get together, and those were three people at the top of their game at the time, and then you have three dominant players, all dominant players, all Hall of Famers. Obviously, honestly, if their careers ended right now, they're all in the Hall of Fame. But I think you have to realize that they don't necessarily all play the same game, but they demand the ball pretty much the same amount of time. And it's only going to take so long before Kyrie gets upset about it and goes off. Or, KD is tired of not getting the last shot because James Harden dribbled the paint off the ball for 20 seconds and then just held it and do anything. Or, it's only going to take so long for James Harden to get beat on the one-on-one because his defense decided not to show up that day. And then everybody's mad, things like this can work, but it's not necessarily a guarantee that things like that can work. And then even down here in Houston, him not showing up. I mean, like you said, come on, like you got to show up because one, you can see if it don't work, or two, you can see like, oh, you know what? Maybe John Wall isn't all the way like Russell Westbrook, and maybe we can do something with this. We got a new coach, we got a new system, and maybe we can figure something out. Maybe we can make this thing work, and maybe I don't have to leave. You got to show up to figure that out.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're not there. You don't know. You're not there. This is a system that's not the D'Antoni system.
And then one of my biggest things is I get it. I understand that we're in the post-decision NBA, like, where LeBron's decision changed the landscape where players have the power. I understand that. But as a team, why in the hell would I allow you to not show up, to do whatever you're going to do, and say, you know what, for your, lack of showing up, for your, fight and vigor, I'm going to send you to a championship contender and get next to nothing back in return. Why would I do that?
Right.
Why would I do that? Right. My job.
Okay, so you're telling me y'all get all the way to the championship, lose the championship, and we still get no pick out deal.
Right. Like my job as an organization is honestly, it's to worry about you because you are my player and I should care about you. But it's not to worry about the other 29 teams in the league. My job is to worry about the team that's employing me and signing my paychecks and making sure this team runs right. I might trade you, but I'm not just going to automatically trade you to a contender unless you got a no trade clause. And if you
right.
I can honestly send you wherever I want to.
Right.
It's just that simple. I'm not saying you got to pony
should have got Rich Paul as your agent. Sorry.
Right. Because all them boys are doing just fine.
Pay where they want to be, no trade clauses, okay, endorsements out behind.
But it's like I said, I don't understand that mindset. Like, I get it, this the NBA, it's a players' league now, but that don't mean I just gotta fold that quickly and just let you do whatever you want to. That's not how it works. Like, I'm the GM, I run this. Don't get it twisted, young man. I still make the decisions around here. I can't cut you, but I'm not just going to send you to where you want to go just for the hell of it. Okay, we're going to make something work here before we, try to do that.
Right. No, you said it. You said it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, I'm just curious to see how this works with Harden, what he does. I'm curious to see how John Wall in the new city, that's trouble because Houston, strip club, Houston,
Boy, now, please tell me you saw that.
Not that we know anything about the
– man, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't go to the strip club, son.
Hey, not that I know anything about it. I'm just saying I used to live by Hobby Airport, which got like 4 strip clubs around it, and I heard the commotion from down the street.
Hey, I tell everybody, like I tell anybody else I know, I took a nap, okay? So I don't know. And that is not a joke. I took a nap. So I don't know what you're talking about.
You did take a nap.
I felt strange. Let's not tell that story. My mom was gonna be asking me about that. Real quick.
Okay, Mom, he was asleep. Trust me, he missed everything. Don't worry about it.
We're gonna move on. Before we get to the NFL, since you mentioned boxing, just real quick, Floyd Mayweather said he's coming out of retirement to fight Jake Paul. I just want your 15 seconds on that. Go.
I don't know. It's stupid. Next question. It's dumb. It's stupid. I don't, bro. Like, dude, this dude is. Here's my thing. We all know Mayweather. It's a money grab. We all know Mayweather. It's a money grab. What else do you do it for? He's bored. What else could it be? You don't need it. Your legacy speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
What more? You know what I mean? You got more money than Tyson and Roy Jones probably combined.
Yeah. Hey, look, I just want to know what you thought about
this YouTuber who nobody gives about.
Well,
like, yeah, he got some good boxing matches. I've seen, like 2 or 3 he's done cool. He's not gonna be boxing in the first place.
Robinson out. I'm just saying.
Bro.
I know it's not Floyd. I know it's not.
Nate had no business in there anyway.
He didn't. He didn't look like he knew.
Yeah, Nate, an athlete, but he ain't no.
Yeah.
Again, Michael Jordan played baseball. We all know how that went.
He was in the movie. He made it in the Space Jam. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and that was the best hit he had in his whole career. Anyway.
I'm going to tell him he said that. All right. Yeah, so, moving on to the NFL. So, one, just got to say, even though my team sucks, I'm glad the NFL has made it as far as it has without any cancellations, and I'm knocking on wood, hoping I'm not jinxing it. But there's been no cancellations. We've had a few major outbreaks, but for the most part, the season has found a way to continue pressing on, and I am so thankful because I love my football on Sundays. With that being said, let's start off with just a few maybe teams, players, and even a couple rookies that have surprised you. I'll give a good one to start. Justin Herbert has shocked the hell out of me. I was not expecting him to come out and look as good as he has. And to be honest, I didn't expect that much out of Tua either, just because I don't necessarily trust Alabama quarterbacks. And for some reason, he's come out and, kind of proved me wrong a little bit. Granted, I understand he's a rookie and he has to, show it at, for a couple years. But those two rookies off top have been actually really surprising to me, and I'm kind of interested to see what they do, especially since the Chargers, honestly, most of those losses that they have were not his fault. They were his defense's fault.
Right.
Like, he could have a way better record than he does if his defense didn't crap the bed at the worst possible moments.
Well, you can go down that list for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott was out here throwing 500 yards a game. His defense get one stop.
Right.
It was funny. And not to change the subject real quick, but it's just funny thinking about Dak because Dak was doing that, and he reminded me of, exactly what game I'm going to. Tony Romo against the Broncos and Peyton
2013.
Tony put up
500 yards.
500 yards.
500 yards.
45 points and lose. And he did throw the game-losing pick. But
it shouldn't have mattered because he threw for 500.
It shouldn't have mattered because if y'all get a stop, y'all get one stop. That was literally Dak Prescott's year. Literally, that was his year. Yeah. So you look at Matt Ryan, same thing. And defensive probably, I'm giving you 42 points. I'm giving you 30.
Win the game. Make a stop.
Justin Herbert. You look at it, bro. It's a lot of situations where, so it's just, I think that's the key this year. Whose defense is going to show up? So it don't even really matter about being on the rest of it. Whose defense is going to show up?
Yeah. And you know what?
At the end of the day.
You know who that's really affecting? Seattle. Because Russell Wilson is cooking the beginning of the year.
Russ should be undefeated. Russ should be – well, no, he had that one game. He threw like 3 picks. So maybe that one game. Russ should maybe have one.
That happens, though. Right,
exactly. It happens.
We're never going to fault a quarterback for one bad game.
Right.
It happens to everybody.
Now, if you're out here looking like Carson Wentz,
we're going to get to him. Oh, we're gonna get to him. But, you look at situations like that, that one game happens. As long as it doesn't happen all the time, we're okay. But your defense has to at least show up a little bit so that, you don't have to throw for 500 yards. You don't have to put up 50, points a game.
No, what you say that? That's facts. What you say that, Murr? That's true. If I give you 500 yards, that should be game in the conversation. If I give you 500 yards, if I give you 400 yards, settle for. But you telling me I walked up and down the field 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
5 times.
5 times.
And we lost.
Now, something ain't right there. Something ain't right there.
Whole team. Got to get it. Got to get it. Whole defense got it. Oh, you the DC? Oh, yes, you give towels to the team, but the defensive side, I don't care who it is. On site. Ain't no way. Yeah.
So then, coming to making it more recent, I think one of the let's keep it funny actually for a second. Greg Williams, dumbass of the year, or maybe genius of the year, depending on how you look at it. If you look at it from one aspect, he sent the cover 0 blitz in a Hail Mary situation. If you look at it from another situation, he got out of New York. Just putting it out there. But the fact of the matter remains, Greg Williams got fired after calling the.
But the thing is, you got in New York, but will you get a job anywhere else?
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned.
Because he has a history of that 0 blitz. That's what people are saying. Right. He has a history of this. This isn't the first time he's done that. You know.
So I think it is fair. It is fair to mention that this is not. It's not like he just decided to wait till his team was up 3 or 4 in a Hail Mary situation to call the cover 0 blitz. He's been doing this for a while. This is kind of what he's been known for. I think if there's a time to get rid of your tendencies, this is it. I think the stat was there was 250 something like that situation where there's like a game where a touchdown wins it. There's a few seconds left and you got to go like 40 plus yards. Never in NFL history in that situation had anybody rushed 6 before Greg Williams did it on Sunday. I'm not saying he deserved to be fired, but there's a thing that you hear about a lot called the stupid test, and that failed it.
Right.
Flying colors. Like and the funny thing is, it almost got him the play earlier. It's just that Derek Carr overthrew Nelson Aguilar.
Right.
He connected on the one to Henry Ruggs. It happened. He did it twice, and he got lucky the first time, and it burned him the second time. And you know what? Let's stay here for a second. It makes me wonder. Don't get me wrong. The team that's on my chest is not that much better. Understand? We are not that much better. But it makes me wonder what the hell is going on in New York with the Jets.
Well, my thing is, though, here's my thing, though. There's a difference between being much better talent-wise, not talent-wise, and organizationally. Because, do the Cowboys have their issues? For sure. But you also don't have your starting quarterback. You also don't have an O-line that's healthy right now. You also don't have, there's a lot of things there. You look at my team, the Carolina Panthers. Are we losing? Yes. But for me, I'm optimistic because we're losing, but 1, we're competing. Mm-hmm. 2, we know why we're losing. We know we just had a whole organizational change. And right now, even with us losing, we see the improvements on every level of the ball. Okay, cool. So we're just in a good rebuild. It's coming up. We fine. 2 years, we'll be up there. The Jets are trash. Top, down, up, bottom, side, coach, mama, daddy, don't matter. They're trash. Okay? And here's my thing, too. As much as the 0 blitz should not have been called, no one is talking about the corner that got toasted by Henry Ruggs. I don't remember his name, but hold on. I know they drafted Ruggs because of speed, but here's my issue. I saw the tape. I cannot remember this corner's name, and I'm sorry, but I saw the tape. Henry Ruggs did a lazy double move. Mm-hmm. He did a cut fake. It's the last play of the game. Who cares if he does a double move? Just Zone out and defend.
But you want to know something else about that corner? He was also undrafted, probably for that reason.
My dude, Merv.
Look, I get
You could have got out there and stood at the end zone line to make sure he don't enter. I've seen you do it. All them spats you got, you're not gonna swim. Okay? If you know, you know. This is the most spatted man up. If you don't know what a spat is, Google it. But it is the most spatted man up.
Somewhere over there.
I'll tell you. Look, Merv, like just don't let him get over top. What's the first rule of playing safety in corner, bro?
Don't let nobody behind you.
Don't get beat deep. Yeah. It's the last play of the game. Who cares? Oh, he catches the ball with 1 second left. Bro, you're not getting downfield.
But again, that goes to the organization and it goes to coaching. Why would you leave? It's that know your personnel kind of thing. Why would you leave your undrafted rookie cornerback one-on-one with anybody for that matter, and especially in a situation where literally they have to get in the end zone? Anything short in the game is over. It was stupid. It was dumb, and it just shows that the Jets might not even be taken. They just suck. They just absolutely suck. And again, my team's not that much better, but in all likelihood, everybody comes back next year. We're okay. I can't say the same for the Jets, and I don't think anybody else can, even in New York, even in green and white. It's not the same. It's not the same suck that's happening in both cities. They got to get that figured out. And I think Greg Williams did get put out yesterday. I think Adam Gase is next, especially with the fact that
they don't fire everybody else. What's he gonna fire?
He gotta be.
What's he gonna fire?
He literally came out and said, "I didn't do my job." He literally said, "I didn't do my job."
He gonna fire again? The Towel Boys? Who gonna fire?
No, that's what I'm saying. He literally said, "I did not do my job developing."
If Gase get another job after this before a black coach get it, I'm calling racism.
Dog. Yes. Absolutely. He was not qualified. Him, Matt Patricia, neither one of those were qualified to have a head coaching job. Matt Patricia's biggest calling card was being a Bill Belichick disciple, and that really don't pan out that well, okay? Brian Flores is kind of pulling it around, and maybe there's another person I'm not thinking of, but for the most part, those Belichick disciples aren't really doing that much. So, again, I don't want to outright say it like you, but I'm going to agree with you because it's something. Because you know what? We're going to stay on that. That's how we're going to get to Carson Wentz, because these white coaches get a bigger pass than black coaches, just like a quarterback in Philadelphia, Carson Wentz. He's gotten pass after pass after pass, and I don't know how living in Philadelphia, playing there with those fans, I don't know how he's gotten such a pass, but he gets a pass from the media. He had been getting a pass from the media, and I think now people are kind of starting to turn on him. I'm interested to see what your coworker Orlowski has to finally say, because he might as well be Carson Wentz's homeboy, his boyfriend, the way he talks about him.
Yeah, I
don't understand why he loved Carson Wentz so much.
Well, he was a mid quarterback, so I guess he supported other mid quarterbacks.
So I don't care.
I will say this though. No, this is what I will say. I'm gonna give Wentz this. They don't have the O-line he's supposed to have.
Okay.
Right now, on paper, yeah, you got Lane Johnson, you got I can't think of the other stalwart they have out there, but you have a good but not great O-line. They're getting older, they're getting hurt, kind of same situation Dallas has. Mm-hmm. What receivers you got?
Yeah.
Alshon ain't been on the field in 2 years. Deshaun Jackson, as great as he was, we all know Deshaun was that dude. Mm-hmm. He's old.
Yeah.
You had Algar for a year. He finally moved, go somewhere else. He's actually looking okay now.
Right.
So you have no weapons. You got Miles Sanders. Mm-hmm. But besides that, so it's not all on Carson Wentz. Is this on Carson Wentz? Yes. Is it all on Carson Wentz?
It's not. Okay. You can't – okay, it's kind of like this, though. You can't control who's around you, but you can control your decision-making. And he's made some horrible decisions. He made one – that one play against the Browns, I believe it was, Dude was bearing down on him. He pretty much felt him in his rib cage, and he still let go of the ball, and that was a pick six. Like, you don't do stuff like that. Against Seattle, there was no reason that ball should have been thrown at the end of that game uh, into the end zone in the double coverage. That was just that was not a smart play, and it kind of makes me wonder. Like, okay, the ACL tear happened in 2017. He was drafted 2016. ACL tear happened
Right.
in 2017. He probably wins the NFL MVP. Everybody says it. It's the truth. He probably wins the
No, facts. No, he would have. No, he was winning MVP as long as he don't get hurt.
And he honestly didn't look that bad in 2018 to the point where it was a legitimate conversation of who was the best quarterback in the NFC East at the time. Was it Dak or was it Carson Wentz? And there was legitimate battles is that year.
We were having those talks. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we were having those talks. Yeah.
Thing. But, I mean, you get to this year, and he looks nothing like that. And it honestly kind of makes me wonder. I was talking about it and thinking out loud. I was like, did that hit from Jadeveon Clowney, like, actually really, like, mess him up? Because at the last year before that hit, he wasn't the best, but he wasn't looking this bad. And I mean, like his decision making is just off, and he's
right.
Like, he's a broken quarterback now. And it like to borrow a golf term, it's like he's got the yips and just he can't figure out how to fix whatever it is. Maybe if he has a change of scenery and goes somewhere else, maybe it'll fix it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Jalen Hurts coming in and giving him a rest, and maybe he comes back next year to see what he has. But he has to figure something out if he wants to stick around, because this is the type of stuff that'll get you cut real quick, and they'll figure out a way to eat that cap money or trade you somewhere else. And obviously I don't like the Eagles, but I mean, you root to see people do well, and I want to see the guy do good when he's not playing against the Cowboys. But he's got to figure out something, or it's not going to work out for him.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, now we're going to see, maybe a chance with Jalen Hurts. Hopefully they actually give him a fair chance.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give him that vanilla behind offense. Let him actually get a chance to see if he can, obviously you don't have to make it the most complicated offense in the world, but let him loose. I'm tired of seeing Hurts get in there for two runs and 1 5-yard throw. Let him loose.
Mm-hmm.
Let him loose. See, what else you losing anyway? What else you going to do? So I want to see that. But if Hurts is successful, then I think it's more of a big deal than what it is right now. Let's assume Hurts is successful. If he's not, it's still the Wentz show. They paid him that money for a reason.
Right.
So even then, I don't expect to see Wentz the entire way just because he's a starter. We'll see Wentz. I mean, just because Hurts is the starter, we'll probably still see Wentz by halftime. Yeah. So not taking anything against Hurts right now, because I believe Hurts actually has the talent to be a good quarterback. I just think that they are dedicated to Wentz in Philly. And so until he's carted off that field, okay, well, we lose, so let's just see. We need a spark. Let's see what happens. The moment he does something bad, the moment Hurts blinks twice, all right, let's throw Wentz back in there.
Yeah.
They don't know what they want to do. Mm-hmm. They don't know what they want to do. Yeah. Because if so, why are you running a 2-quarterback situation like you Michigan? You know what I mean? Or like a college team. I don't understand what you're doing. Let somebody get a rhythm first if you have full belief in somebody.
Right. And it's almost like the situation in Chicago where they started with Trubisky, switched to Nick Foles, and then they're back to Trubisky because they can't get it figured out. Like you said, you got to let the man, show what he's got. Now, if he plays a game or two and just looks absolutely terrible, snatch him. Okay, fine, whatever. Or if he just looks absolutely god-awful like Ben DiNucci did for the Cowboys that one game, okay, take him out. We saw what we needed to see, and it didn't work.
Right.
But this is not that same situation. Jalen Hurts was picked in the second round for a reason. You're not picking a quarterback that high when you have a franchise quarterback if you don't see something wrong. And I don't think that this guy can legitimately come in and take over if we need him to take over. And honestly, earlier in the season was that point for Philadelphia. Carson Wentz hadn't just looked like this for 2 weeks. He's been looking like this pretty much all season.
Right.
And so and I will say I'm happy to see Jalen Hurts finally get that shot and not just to come in and play your Taysom Hill role, maybe throw a pass, line up at wide out and do that. I want to see him legit taking all the reps in practice, under center, you know, listed as the starter in the depth chart for that week, just to see how he reacts. And I want, again, especially being a black quarterback, I want to see him do well, and I want to see that he can take over that team. I don't want him to do too well playing against the Cowboys, obviously being a division foe, but in general, I do want to see what he has to offer. And not just him, Jordan Love up in Green Bay, who we haven't really heard much of because Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and he pretty much took that as a shot in the back and was like, you know what, that's my replacement. You just did me like,
right? Yeah, because he going crazy.
That's cool.
He going crazy.
I might be out of here, but
A-Rod out here,
something on the way out.
mad as hell.
Yeah.
All right. No, I agree with you, man. You know, but I want to see Hurts get a fair chance. I want to see Hurts besides the design runs. I want to see Hurts besides the Alex Smith type dig and dunk throws.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to see him win a fair chance. So I hope so. Like I said, we ain't gonna see my man behind Aaron Rodgers for a while.
It's gonna be a couple years.
I actually want to Carolina draft him. I really want to Carolina draft him, if I'm be honest with you. But you know, we didn't. But we got Jeremy Chin, so I'm not tripping.
I'm of the mindset of I kind of like to see quarterbacks sit for a year or two and develop.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
they get thrust into there. That's my thought. I'm old school, whatever. But I'm glad you mentioned that. You mentioned Green Bay and talking about how they're playing. I think obviously being 12, 13 weeks through the season, we kind of know who everybody is, and I kind of want to know, you know, your thoughts. Maybe just give me two quick teams from the NFC and the AFC, or maybe two or three legitimate contenders of people who could actually, you know, right now play in the Super Bowl and actually make some noise.
Chiefs. Okay. And no, actually, I can't even say that. What's funny is the Chiefs, I was actually looking at their schedule today. The Chiefs have honestly been winning most of the games by like 7 points or less. They haven't really been dominant in the way that, are they 11-1? Yes, they are. Can't take nothing from them. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you only beat Carolina by 2 points, and that's because they missed the game-winning field goal.
Right.
You know, you struggle with, you know, you got a receiver have 200 yards in the first half, and you still almost lose that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
sorry. First quarter.
First quarter, exactly. I apologize. Julio Jones was the first half. That was first quarter.
Yeah.
Dude, how you almost lose that game? The Chiefs are vulnerable. You can't tell me the Steelers aren't for real. You don't go 11-0 on accident.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't go and what people understand is too with that Steelers situation, they lost to a good, bad Washington team.
Yeah.
They're a good, bad team. You know what I mean? The defense is for real there. You know, Ron Rivera is a defensive genius. So, yeah, you know, they just lose it. You know, you see the record and, they lost to the Washington football team. No, they lost to a team that was competing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that had something to prove, and they proved it, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I honestly don't see Tomlin look like he's ready to go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Tomlin got something to prove for himself, too.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't give him his coach of the year last year that you can argue say he should have had. You talk about him, is he on the hot seat when he had every injury known to man last year?
Yeah.
No, I think the Steelers are probably the best team in the AFC, honestly, for sure. NFC-wise, I still like Seattle. I know that defense hasn't been playing the way it's been playing, but Green Bay's defense don't play up to par every week either. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And Tampa has proven they false, which – you remember first, I told you I wasn't worried about Tampa. I told you I wasn't scared of Tampa. You know, Brady's arm is not built anymore to lead a team. If the defense don't show up, Brady not finna get you that win. Straight up. All right, is he the GOAT? Yes. Is he out of his element? Yes. Okay, his arm used to be in cold weather right now. He don't know how to throw in the heat. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, Seattle, I think Russ has got a chip on his shoulder, man. I think Russ got a chip on his shoulder. You know, I like Arizona. I like Arizona to maybe get an upset in the wild card round. You know what I mean? Because, again, it's only going to be a one bye week now for the 7 games. So I do like, Arizona maybe slipping up in there and getting the win and then getting there. And, and don't forget that, every team that's, the Seattle Seahawks, the Carolina Panthers, I forgot the other team, but the teams that made it with the losing record have all won the first playoff game.
Right.
So don't think that it can't be, the Washington football team or the Philadelphia Eagles or the Dallas. If y'all went out and they lose, Dallas Cowboys can don't think, just because they, 6 and whatever, 6 and 10, that they can't win that first game, because it's been proven that they can and will win that first game.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, I think Steelers take the Chiefs for the Super Bowl, and I think you get we got a Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson goes to get the other Super Bowl. He should have had in the first place.
See, I think that the loss, like Pittsburgh losing to Washington, I feel like it kind of seemed like a big deal, but it's really not, because you got to remember, Pittsburgh never had a bye week. Like you think about it. Week 3, Pittsburgh was literally on the practice field, practicing, working out,
right,
and then got told, that game, we're not going to play that. So this is like kind of your bye week, even though you really didn't get your bye week off because you was already here and it's Wednesday and you got to play again next week. And so they didn't have that bye week. They've had their schedule messed up by not one, but 2 teams having COVID outbreaks.
Right.
More recently.
And let's be real, the one loss they had came after one of the craziest weeks in football history.
They played on a Wednesday.
A Wednesday after playing however many days late with the Ravens situation.
Right. They played on okay. There was Thanksgiving when they were supposed to play. They played 6 days later, and they had to play 5 days later. That's not a normal schedule. Any team would be forgiven if they say they would never say it out loud because you don't make excuses. But any team would be forgiven if the actual reason that they lost was that, and then you take into account that Washington and New York are playing better football than they were at the beginning of the season. We'll get to them in a little bit. But, you got a team that is playing a little bit better, a team that's honestly – Pittsburgh is tired right now. Pittsburgh is
exactly.
tired the past couple of weeks. They have not been dominant. Like when they played Dallas, they were not dominant at all. They were honestly lucky to win that game. And it's been a streak of that. So to finally have that loss, it's not that big a deal. I saw something that were on ESPN earlier. They were asking if the city would crush Pittsburgh. Absolutely not. Like Pittsburgh is not just going to allow some team to just come in and just wreck them. And that's a massive overreaction after one game. They lost, but they lost to a somewhat decent team. And we have to remember this is still an NFL team that they played against. These are grown men on the other side of the field. They out here playing too, just like they are. So you got to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
But I will say, if I had to pick somebody out the AFC, at the very least, I know championship weekend, I'll probably still say Pittsburgh and probably Kansas City. Tennessee scares me, honestly, in the sense of they're good, but they relied so much on Derrick Henry.
Yep. You get a team that schedules that can handle that.
That's it. Like that's a wrap. That's what happened last year. Derrick Henry got shut down. They had nothing against Kansas City that game.
And go ahead and let Ryan Tannehill take it to the Super Bowl. I believe him when I see it.
Right. You know what? And that's
you paid him before you paid the running back.
Right. That's one of those things where you say, you know what? If somebody gonna beat us, it's not gonna be the tall running back with the dreads. It's gonna be the white quarterback. If the quarterback beats us, then we just got beat today. But if I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm walking into the locker room and saying, this guy, he's not beating me.
Not happening.
Whatever else happens, he's not beating me. And
not happening.
I think that the right defense, the Pittsburgh, the Kansas City, they can figure it out. and going to the NFC, honestly, Green Bay and New Orleans they've been head and shoulders above everybody. And you know what's weird? New Orleans has been quiet about what they're doing. Nobody's really just been talking about them. Nobody's been saying, "Oh my God, New Orleans doing this and doing that and whatever." Because you're looking at Drew Brees not being the Drew Brees he was. You're looking at the fact that he got 11 ribs broken on a routine tackle. Like it's not like he body weight wasn't on him. Dude even tried to lay to the side, and that happened. But they're still winning. They have not missed a single beat. Granted, you don't pick a great time for an injury, but they picked a great time for this to happen. Like they didn't exactly play the toughest teams the past few weeks.
Right.
But the fact still remains is you still have to go out and play, and they still won. So people, you got that. And then, like I said, Green Bay, as much as I hate Aaron Rodgers, he's balling. Like nobody's touching what he's doing right now. Seattle's defense scares me. I love Kyler right now. I want to see him do what he's doing, but they're like just right there, and they
a year or two away. They're a year or two away.
If we have this conversation this time next year, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm saying,
right,
you know what, that youngster, he's going to the Super Bowl. I would not be surprised if that happens.
Right. It kind of. I'm happy for Kyler, but it kind of pisses me off because the coach failed up, but
he did because
different conversation. We'll be on
a spot. Cliff Kingsbury
could win the Big 12 at all, but somehow he was able. But they arguably are a year or two away from being that team. But again, can they slip up and win that? Win a wild card? Win the first game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For sure.
And to go back to the AFC, a team that's right there, Buffalo, with Josh Allen and the way he's been playing and how McDermott has that team running, that's a team you got to watch out for. And I know that's weird to say that about a team that's most likely about to win their division, but that is a team you have to watch out for. They're not the sexy pick by any means. Nobody's coming out and saying Buffalo is going to do much in the playoffs, but they will beat you.
But like I said before, people don't want to give that man his credit. Sean McDermott created the 2015 Carolina Panthers Super Bowl defense, which was, did the Carolina Panthers lose in the end? Yes, they lost to the number one defense, but the defense right behind them was the Carolina Panthers defense. Right. It was them and Cam Newton because damn sure wasn't nobody else on that team.
That was Von Miller as a one-man wrecking crew for
Von Miller had the game in his. I mean, honestly, and no disrespect to Von Miller at all. Ask him to have that same game.
Right.
Probably couldn't do it.
He can't. No.
Probably couldn't do it. It was insane what that. I mean, he put everything he had.
Right.
Everything he had. You can't do nothing but respect it.
Right. No, do it again. Do it again. If he does that again, he's automatically in the Hall of Fame. No questions asked. No questions asked. No questions asked.
Bro.
Because that performance right there.
But he had the game of his life.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. So, again, give Sean McDermott give him his flowers, give him his credit, give him his flowers.
Yeah.
You got to get that man his credit because he built a team that nobody wanted. He built a team. You don't know what the Buffalo job?
No. What, you want me to go freeze and do what? Go to Niagara Falls? Like, what am I going to do in Buffalo?
Bro, for what?
For what? Ain't nothing to do up there. But he's balling. He's balling. His team has got it together, and it's one of those situations. You know how, like for me last year, the team was Baltimore, where it was one of those teams where they're really good, but you feel like they're not going to make it, and so you just don't know who. Kind of like with Pittsburgh, like you knew they weren't going to go undefeated, you just weren't sure who was going to beat them.
Right.
If Pittsburgh or Kansas City don't make it to the AFC Championship, it's probably going to be Buffalo's fault. It's probably
So Buffalo wasn't my pick for who beats the Steelers. It was I had two picks. So I said Buffalo does it next week, or the Browns do it week 17 in a trap game.
Right. Well, I don't know if it maybe not a trap game because the Browns are fighting for a playoff spot too. You talk. Dog, just to put put a side note right here. I said last year, people were talking about the Browns and saying all that stuff and hyping them up. And what did I say? I don't trust Freddie Kitchens because I don't know
Right,
about him.
right, to do nothing.
We can say all this stuff about him, but we don't know what he's gonna do. And what did he do? Prove me right. I just want to put that out there because I like to be right. We see what can happen when you have good coaching and a good and the organization finally figuring stuff out. Which gets me into our final point. Well, kind of the NFC East. It's a very real showcase in what happens when you have teams where the organization is running things correctly and teams where the organization is running things correctly.
Facts.
And you know what's weird? The organization that, though honestly one of the worst organizations in the NFL, is playing some of the best football right now, and that's Washington. And it kind of goes to show what happens when you have a coach. When you have a coach that players want to play for, like Ron Rivera, who nobody's ever said anything bad about Ron Rivera. Nobody ever would. Like, that's one of those guys that you want to play for, and you're seeing what's happening now. They look good. And even in New York, nobody was thinking at the beginning of the season or even a few weeks ago that New York will look like they are. But
right.
Joe Judge somehow has those guys without Saquon Barkley, mind you. Saquon Barkley's not been there since week 2, something like that. And, and they're in legitimate position to win the division. It's pretty much them two because, well, Philly.
Yeah.
Dallas is Dallas.
Unless Hurts come out here going crazy.
Yeah.
Which, again, no disrespect against him. I don't see that.
Yeah. So I just kind of want your thoughts on, like, the NFC East. Like, people, it's been talked about this year, and rightfully so. It's been the worst division of football. But I think coming down the stretch, at the very least, you got two teams that look somewhat like a professional football team. Like, they kind of know what they're doing. And I will say it kind of shows that the excuses that Dallas had of, the pandemic, new head coach, we couldn't really install our stuff. So did Washington, and so did New York. They are in the exact same boat as Dallas is. Somehow they got it figured out, and somehow Dallas didn't.
So what's the problem? Right. What's the problem? No, I mean, the NFC East, man, some things are organizational with certain teams. I mean, you can argue Dallas might be a combination of both. Mm-hmm. You can argue, because we know the quarterback situation. We know that, but we also know Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones, and, he gives and he takes away. Mm-hmm. So, you know that too. I look at the Eagles again. We talked about the Eagles earlier with the whole, O-line situation, with the weapon situation. That could be an organizational thing. You know what I mean? Does your head coach really know? Like, yes, did he get your Super Bowl? For sure. I don't think a Super Bowl is ever a fluke. But, now where are we at?
Right.
You passed the honeymoon stages with them. We got to see more growth there. You got the I'm sorry, it's so hard not to say Redskins. I'm sorry. The Washington. You've been saying it for 26 years, bro. It's impossible not to say it. But, you got the Washington football team and I just talked before. I told you, give them 2 years and they're going to be the best team in the NFC East. Didn't know that was going to be this early.
Yeah.
But Ron Rivera is a legit coach. Ron Rivera is about discipline. Ron Rivera is about building defenses. And that's what you see. They do look like a football team. And that was even before the Steelers win, they were competing. Yeah. Even before the Steelers win, they were, you know what I mean? They weren't winning every game, but they were definitely competing. They were showing up.
And I think that's one of the biggest things where you look at Washington and New York now. They might this entire season, they may not have looked the best, but one thing you couldn't say about those teams was that they didn't look like they were trying, or that they weren't giving 100% every play, or that they just looked like Dallas, like people were saying about Dallas. Players literally saying, "What do you expect me to give 100% every single play?"
Yes. No, he really did. No, he really did.
I do, actually. That's exactly what I expect. I expect you to give 100% every play. Why did you say that? But you don't see that, you don't see stuff like that coming out of New York. You don't see it coming out of Washington. You really don't even see it coming out of Philly. granted, they're having their issues and whatever they're going through, but you don't see that. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, okay, if Philly can get their stuff together, if New York can and Washington can continue what they're doing, and if Mike McCarthy can get it figured out, division might go from the laughing stock in 2020 to maybe 2022 being one of the best divisions. You have all the quarterbacks will be either, like in, about 4 or 5, 6 years, or, kind of age enough to where they're established. The coaches will have been there for a while. That's kind of the recipe to turn, the crap show that is NFC East into one of the better divisions, like it has been, historically, obviously,
Right.
taking out the past year or two.
No, I mean, like I said, you said it before, and the East frustrates me, bro. I mean, it just really does. The East frustrates me, and there's no. I really want to know, and this is not something I know off the top of my head, but historically, like, is there another division that's been this bad, this like this much? I really want to know, because
even when
there's no excuse for all four to be this bad,
right? Because even when Seattle won at 7-9 or Carolina won at 7-9, it was like 7-9 and like 6-10, 6-10, 5-11, something like that.
Right. So they were at least competing.
Yeah,
like they were, you know what I mean? Were they perfect? No. But this, I mean, 5 games should never, and I mean never, get you to the playoffs. Like, because keep in mind, when that happened, people were mad about the Seahawks going to the playoffs. People were like, they shouldn't make it. This is crazy. And they won 7 games.
Yeah.
Bro, be real. This really 6 games might get you in.
Right.
6 games might get you in. That is insane. That is unheard of. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But you know what the wild thing is? Everybody says, oh, they shouldn't host a playoff game, this, and that. But you know who has an NFC West 2010 banner hanging in their stadium? Seattle Seahawks. They don't care.
We got there.
You got there. You were the best out of the 4 teams in your division.
Right.
You host a playoff game and you see what happens. Beastquake doesn't happen if Seattle doesn't get that playoff game.
Right.
Just saying.
Right.
That
facts. At the end of the day, it don't happen. Against the Saints team that was supposed to wipe them off the floor.
Yeah. That was the year after they won the Super Bowl, and that happened.
Yeah.
This goes back to
it was going back to back, or so we thought.
Yeah, they were supposed to.
It was going back to back.
Yeah. Well, sir, it's been fun, but that's about it. Because I know you're tired, and quite frankly, I got a long night ahead of me. So with that being said, you got anything else you want to say before we slide up out of here?
Yeah, man. For all the haters, bro, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, give Jeremy Chin his defensive rookie of the year. I don't want to hear nothing else about it. All right, Chase Young, we respect him. He's going to be a great player, probably Hall of Fame one day.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Chin, defensive rookie of the year. All right, if you don't know, check stats. Back-to-back defensive plays of the month, okay? Back-to-back touchdowns in 10 seconds.
That did happen.
Give my man defensive rookie of the year. That's all I'm saying.
Anything else? You good?
Go Cougs.
Well, with that being said, we're gonna
best team in Texas.
What? Oh,
my bad. Best team in Texas. I apologize.
Best team in football or basketball?
Basketball.
Okay. I was about
basketball season.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yes, you're right. Then you're 100% correct. Also, just want to put it out there: the Mavericks City Edition jerseys are exquisite. I need one. Chuck, I'm gonna hit you up with.
Hey, because I talked to him about the Charlotte jerseys yesterday. I'm gonna tell you right now. So add them to my list.
Right. Hey, I was about to say I already got one on the way. I'm gonna have to get that white and gold 77 too. Yes, sir. So with that being said, we're gonna head up out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Like like it, leave a comments. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow me on all my social media and follow the blog. And I hope to not be away from you for 3 months again. With that being said, thank you so much. We're going to get out of here. Peace, love. That, I just want to say before I get out of here, that is the cutest baby anybody has ever seen. His head is big, but that's a cute baby right there, boy. Shout out to Sharon and Mervin.
I got to show you my nephew.
Shout out to Sharon and Mervin for making that. Thank you so much. Thank you for gracing me with me. Thank you so much. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Peace, love, and God bless you.